I thought I knew what betrayal felt like, until my ride-or-die best friend used my own car to secretly drive straight into the arms of the man who broke my heart. What followed was a cold, calculated game where one of us had to lose everything. Just a few months ago, Jenna, was feeling pretty good about my life. I'm 27, and I wasn't exactly rolling in cash, but I had my own cozy apartment, a stable job that let me work from home, and my car. Man, that car was special. I worked 3 jobs to buy it, and it represented so much freedom to me. I had a few great friends, my amazing younger brother, and then there was Ava, my childhood best friend. We met when we were 7. Our moms were tight, so we practically lived at each other's houses. Sleepovers every weekend, passing notes in class, matching ride-or-die keychains in high school. I honestly thought we'd grow old, laughing about our wild youth. I never, ever thought she'd become the biggest bad decision of my life. The whole messy nightmare started in early January. Ava showed up at my apartment, looking absolutely exhausted. That sheepish, lip-biting, hoodie-string fidgeting look? I knew it immediately. She was about to ask for something big. "Jen," she flopped onto my couch like she owned the place. "I need a huge favor. Just for a couple of weeks, I promise." I was instantly suspicious. But Ava had this way about her, this tone that screamed, "I hate asking, but I'm truly desperate." And it always got to me. It tapped into that part of me that still saw us as those inseparable little girls. She told me her car finally died. The engine was kaput, and repairs would cost more than the car was worth. She was saving for a new one, but in the meantime, she needed to get to her freelance makeup gigs across town. She only needed my car during the day, she swore. I could use it at night and on weekends. She even promised to fill the tank regularly and clean it once a week. I hesitated. I used my car daily too. But my job had just gone remote a couple of months prior, so no more commute. It was mostly just grocery runs or visiting Max, my brother. So, yeah, it seemed doable. And this was Ava. My Ava. I trusted her with my life. So I said yes. The first week was fine. Perfect even. She texted before taking the car, always said thank you, and even left a vanilla air freshener hanging from the mirror. It was sweet, thoughtful. I almost felt bad for my initial suspicion. But then, things started to shift. Slowly at first, small things. Random stuff started appearing in my car. Lip glosses, receipts from fast food places I'd never heard her mention, even a bracelet that looked suspiciously like one I'd seen on someone else. The tank was rarely full, despite her promise. One day, I found an empty coffee cup in the back with 2 distinct lipstick marks on the rim. I tried to shrug it off. I didn't want to be that friend, the paranoid, overthinking one. Besides, if she was seeing someone new, that was her business, right? The real crack started 2 weeks in. We were at my parents' house for dinner, and Max, glued to his phone as usual, looked up at me. "Hey," he said, "didn't Ava used to date Tyler?" My stomach dropped. Tyler? My Tyler? He was my ex, technically, but it still felt so raw. Tyler and I dated for 2 years. We started with fireworks and ended with a quiet, bitter fizzle. We'd broken up 8 months ago after I caught him messaging his ex behind my back. It was messy, humiliating, and incredibly painful. Ava had been there. She was the one who brought me tissues the night I kicked him out. She was the one who kept repeating, "You deserve better," until I actually believed her. So yeah, I felt a sudden, chilling coldness when Max said his name. No, she never dated him. I tried to sound casual. Why? Max just flipped his phone around. It was a blurry photo from someone's Instagram story. Ava, standing next to Tyler at gas station. She was tagged, Max said. That's why it popped up. I didn't even know they knew each other. Neither did I. I didn't say anything to Ava at first. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe she bumped into him once. Maybe she was doing makeup for someone and he just happened to be there. But the thing is, once you see the cracks, you can't unsee them. I started paying closer attention. I texted her around noon, asking if she still needed the car. She'd always say she was on a job, but the makeup kit she used to lug around, it was gone from my back seat. She was out for hours, and when I asked about her gigs, her answers were always vague. It was chill, or same old, same old. One evening, I checked the mileage on the dashboard before she left. When she came back later that night, I checked again. She'd driven over 70 miles. There was no makeup job across town. She was driving to him. My hand shook as I held the keys. I didn't know if I was angrier at her or at myself for trusting her so blindly. I wanted to confront her right then. I even texted her, "We need to talk. Come over tomorrow." She replied with a simple thumbs-up emoji. But I didn't know what I wanted from her. An apology? An explanation? How do you even explain something like that? So I waited. And while I waited, I did what any reasonable person would do. I started watching her. Not in a creepy, stalker way, but in a "you broke my trust, and now I need answers" way. I installed a simple tracking app on my phone, linking it to the GPS system in my car. Ava wasn't tech-savvy. I knew she'd never mess with the dashboard settings. And over the next week, everything clicked into place. Every single day, she'd drive to the same address, stay there for 2 to 3 hours, then drive back like nothing happened. Sometimes she'd even stop to get takeout on the way back and act like it was for her client. It was Tyler's address. No doubt about it. And the worst part? She didn't even try to hide it. She used my car to see my ex, while lying straight to my face with a smile. The betrayal sank deeper than I ever expected. I started replaying old conversations in my head. Was she always this selfish? Did she always look down on me behind that sweet girl act? And Tyler, was he just using her to get under my skin? Were they laughing about me behind closed doors? The anger turned into something sharper. Not just betrayal, but absolute resolve. I wasn't just going to confront her and cry and let her walk away with some half-hearted excuse. No, if she wanted to use my car, she was going to get one final ride she'd never forget. After I confirmed Ava had been visiting Tyler every single day, something in me just shut off. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the audacity, the casual lies, the fact that she smiled in my face and then used something I worked so hard for to crawl back to the person who wrecked me. I didn't say anything for 3 days. I let her keep borrowing the car. Let her text me her little fake updates. Just finished a wedding gig. Super long appointment today. All while I tracked her every move from my phone. She had no idea I knew. That gave me power. It let me observe her, really observe her, and realize something I hadn't wanted to admit. Ava had always taken more than she gave. When we were younger, it was my clothes she borrowed, my snacks she ate, my room she crashed in after fights with her mom. I never minded. I thought that's what friends were for. But now, looking back, I saw the pattern. I made excuses for her because I love her like family. And like family, she thought I'd never walk away. Until one night, everything snapped. It was a Friday. She showed up at my place around 10 a.m., breezing in like usual with a coffee in one hand and that grin that used to seem charming. Not anymore. "Hey, I might need the car a little longer today," she said, barely looking at me. "Client in Glenrick. Might grab lunch after." Glenrick, right near where Tyler lived. I just nodded. "Sure, take your time." She tossed me the coffee like it was a peace offering and skipped out the door. I didn't drink it. Instead, I opened my laptop and pulled up the GPS tracker again. She drove straight to Tyler's place, parked outside like she lived there, and stayed for over 4 hours. I just sat there, staring at the little dot on the screen. I don't know what I was expecting to feel. Maybe anger, maybe grief. But mostly I just felt done. That night, I called her. I wanted to give her one chance. Not to come clean. I knew she wouldn't, but to step away, to stop taking advantage of me before I did something I couldn't undo. "Hey," I said when she picked up, "I think I'm going to need the car back for a while. Like, permanently." There was a pause. "Oh, are you sure? I've still got some stuff booked this month." "I know," I said, my voice calm, careful. "But I'm not comfortable loaning it out anymore. You've had it almost a month now." She laughed, like I was joking. Come on, Jenna. You're barely even driving. What's the real reason? I didn't answer that. I just repeated, I'll need the keys tomorrow. Please don't take the car again. She sighed loudly, like I was being dramatic. Okay, fine. I didn't believe her for a second. Sure enough, the next morning, I woke up and the car was gone. She hadn't texted, hadn't called. She'd just taken it, like it still belonged to her. And that was it. That was the moment I stopped feeling guilty. I called the non-emergency police line first, explained the situation, told them I had proof I'd asked her not to take the car, that she wasn't on the insurance, that she'd taken it without permission. They asked if I'd be willing to press charges if it came to that. I said yes. I was tired of letting people walk over me just because they used to love me. I wasn't the same Jenna who cried over Tyler for weeks. I wasn't even the Jenna who said yes to Ava out of habit. This Jenna had been planning for days. I knew she'd head to Tyler's house. Same route, same time like clockwork. So I gave the officer the address she always went to and waited. The tracking stopped moving right where I expected it to, Tyler's driveway. I can't lie, I was shaking. Not because I was scared of what would happen to her, but because I didn't know how she would react. Ava wasn't the type to take consequences quietly. I imagined the meltdown, the yelling, the betrayal in her voice that I had turned on her. But none of that mattered now. She made her choice. The next update I got was from Max. He sent me a screenshot from someone's story. Ava standing outside a house. My car in the background. 2 police cars parked behind it. She was arguing with an officer, her hands flying in the air. Tyler stood awkwardly on the porch, arms crossed, watching all unfold. I don't think I've ever felt anything like that moment. It wasn't relief. It wasn't pure satisfaction. It was clarity. Everything she took from me, my trust, my friendship, my car, my peace of mind, was crashing down in real time. And this time, I wasn't the one cleaning up the mess. I didn't answer her calls that night, or the texts. The please call me that I didn't think you'd actually do that, and my personal favorite. This is so unfair. I saved every single message because what comes next? Well, let's just say this wasn't the end of Ava's games. She wasn't done trying to twist the story, and soon the drama would pull in people I never expected, including my own family. And that's when things really got ugly. The silence didn't last long. By the next morning, Ava had pivoted from guilt to fury. My phone lit up with a long wall of text that started with, "I can't believe you'd do that to me," and spiraled into accusations of betrayal, abandonment, and my absolute favorite, ruining her reputation. I didn't respond, but she didn't need me to. She went to someone who always answered, my mother. I don't know exactly what Ava said to her, but whatever it was, it worked. Around noon, I got a call from Mom. The moment I picked up, I knew where this was headed. "Jenna," she said, her voice sharp. "What is going on? How do you two? Don't play coy. Ava just left our house in tears. She told me you had her arrested." I closed my eyes and leaned back on the couch. She wasn't arrested. She was questioned because she took my car after I told her not to. She said you offered it to her for a few weeks. That was over a month ago, Mom. I told her I needed it back. She took it anyway. There was a pause. Then Mom's voice dropped into that tone that always made me feel like I was 8 years old again. "I don't know what's gotten into you lately. First Tyler, now Ava. It's like you want to push people away." And that was it. The old ache. The invisible one I thought I'd buried. Growing up, I always had to be the good daughter, the easy one. Mom didn't yell much, but her disappointment felt like a punishment anyway. Ava, with her chaotic energy and constant drama, was always treated like a stray kitten adopted. "She's had it rough," Mom would say. "Be patient with her." "I've been patient for 20 years, Mom." I said quietly. She was using me. She lied to me for weeks. She was seeing Tyler behind my back, using my car, and you're mad at me for setting a boundary? "You're exaggerating," she said. "She just happened to run into him." I actually laughed. For 3 weeks straight at his house. Mom didn't answer, and I realized then she already knew the truth. She just didn't want to choose sides. And when people don't want to choose, they always default to the person who makes the least noise. That night, I didn't sleep much. Not because I regretted what I did, but because I knew this wasn't over. Ava wasn't going to slink away in shame. She was the kind of person who couldn't stand to lose control. And right now, I'd ripped it from her hands. I was right. The next day, she showed up at my apartment. No warning, no text, just a knock on the door, loud and steady. I opened it a crack and didn't move. She looked different. Not exactly sad, not angry either. She wore this tight-lipped smile like she was trying to seem in control, but her eyes gave her away. Wide, darting, full of something between desperation and fury. "I just want to talk," she said. I didn't open the door any wider. "Talk here." She glanced over her shoulder, then back at me. "I think this has all been blown way out of proportion. You stole my car. You loaned me your car," she snapped. "And then when you got all weird and possessive about it." I blinked. "Possessive? Are you hearing yourself?" She raised both hands like, "Let's not fight." But her voice was tight. "Look, I know I should have told you about Tyler. I didn't know how. I thought you'd freak out. I would have freaked out." I told her, because that's what normal people do when their best friend hooks up with their ex behind their back. Don't be dramatic. And there it was. The real Ava's slipping through the cracks. I started to close the door. "We're done here." "Wait." Her voice changed. "You really called the cops on me? Do you have any idea what kind of trouble that could have caused?" "You caused it," I said. "You lied. You used me. You didn't care what that did to me or to our friendship." She stepped forward like she might push the door. I didn't flinch, but I didn't budge either. "You know what?" she said, tilting her head. "You've always acted like you were better than me. Ever since we were kids, you had the nicer house, the stable family, the car, the job. You never let me forget it." I stared at her. That's what it was about. Not friendship, not forgiveness. This was about resentment, about years of little jealousies she never said out loud. "I'll let you into my life because I thought you were family," I said. "But you've been keeping score this whole time." She didn't answer. She just turned and walked down the hall, muttering something under her breath. But I didn't feel triumphant. I felt hollow. I locked the door, sat down on my couch, and stared at the spot where she stood. I wasn't sure what came next. She could spin this to friends, to family, to anyone who'd listen. She could play the victim all over again. But for the first time in my life, I didn't care. She wasn't my problem anymore. Except she still wasn't finished. Because 2 days later, I got a call from my job. A voicemail from HR. Apparently, someone had submitted an anonymous tip claiming I was involved in an ongoing legal investigation and had recklessly endangered a friend. I knew that voice. Even disguised, I knew the rhythm of her phrasing, her need to play chess while everyone else played checkers. She hadn't just lost access to my car. She was trying to wreck my life. And that was her final mistake. That voicemail from HR was the final shove I needed. I wasn't fired, thank God. My boss actually laughed about the anonymous tip and said it sounded like something out of a high school movie. But the fact that Ava went that far, that she tried to drag my livelihood into her mess, that told me everything I needed to know. She wasn't just bitter, she was dangerous. So I got to work. See, while Ava spent her time twisting the truth to anyone who'd listen, I'd spent mine gathering receipts. Texts, call logs, screenshots of the GPS tracker, screenshots of her Instagram stories with captions like, "Busy day on the job," while she was clearly parked at Tyler's place. Her messages admitting she took the car. My messages asking for it back. I had a clean timeline. I had evidence. And I had motivation. The first thing I did was file a small claims case for unauthorized use of property. In my state, even though I'd initially loaned her the car, her continuing to take it after I asked her to stop, especially for personal reasons, especially when she lied about it, qualified as misuse. I listed out the gas money she never paid back, the mileage she racked up, and the cleaning bill after I found makeup smudges, hair extensions, and a used press-on nail stuck in the cup holder. It wasn't a huge amount, about $900 in total, but it wasn't about the money. It was about putting her in front of a judge and making her answer for it. The court date was 2 months out, but in the meantime, I planned my revenge. Now, one thing you should know about Ava: she was trying to break into social media full-time. She had a modest following, around 8K on Instagram, and she loved to post about her clients, her booked-out schedule, and her hustle. She'd brag about doing makeup for influencers, post fake DMs from brands, and call herself a celebrity MUA in the making. Her image meant everything to her. So I started reaching out quietly, strategically, to a few of the people I knew she had burned in the past. An old roommate she ghosted on rent. A bride whose makeup she botched and blamed on bad lighting. A fellow artist she copied without credit. I found them through tag posts, mutual comments, and DMs I'd remembered seeing years ago. I didn't tell them what to do. I just shared my story with screenshots, receipts, links, and then I waited. It didn't take long. One of the micro-influencers Ava had worked with reposted my screenshots in a story, captioned, "This you." Her comments section exploded. Other people chimed in with their own stories. Unpaid gigs, ghosting lies. Ava tried to delete comments, then disable them, then post a tearful story about online bullying and toxic jealousy. But by then, it was out of her hands. Her follower count started dropping. A collab she bragged about mysteriously disappeared. A photographer she'd worked with took down all their joint posts. And then, cherry on top, one of the local salons she used to freelance for posted a very pointed update about doing background checks and professionalism being non-negotiable. I didn't even have to say a word. She built her reputation on smoke and mirrors. I just pulled the curtain back. And finally, the court date came. She showed up in this oversized blazer, like she was playing businesswoman. I wore jeans and a black tee. I wasn't trying to look impressive. I just wanted to look like someone telling the truth. It was quick. The judge reviewed the texts, looked at the mileage report, heard Ava's shaky excuse about misunderstanding, and thinking we were still cool. I calmly pointed out the exact date. I told her not to take the car again, showed the receipt from the tracker, showed her text admitting she drove it the next day. He ruled in my favor in under 10 minutes. She had to pay me the $900 plus court fees. I walked out of that courtroom lighter than I'd felt in years. Ava tried one last time to reach out, maybe thinking we'd talk it out now that things had cooled down. I blocked her. I blocked her on everything. And here's the funny part. For someone who made such a mess of my life, she disappeared from it like smoke. Tyler? I have no idea what happened to him. Don't care. I think once Ava's life started imploding, he bolted. Classic. My family eventually came around. My mom apologized. Not directly, of course, but in her way. She invited me over for dinner and made my favorite dish without me asking. She even said, "You were right about her," one night while we were watching TV. It was enough. And me? I kept going. I got a new car a few months later. Started therapy. Took a solo trip I'd always put off. I rebuilt the pieces Ava tried to scatter. Because that's the thing no one tells you about revenge. It's not about hurting them. It's about taking your power back and making sure they never get to steal it again.